St. Louis tonight by a score of 3-2. That is a final. All right. The Moorhead Spuds baseball team is still undefeated. Moorhead beat Breckenridge in extra innings this afternoon down in Breck. Bottom of the first, Breckenridge, Doug Lorenz doubles to left center. Pitcher Jay Oshak and Kelly Passbargen comes in to score for the Cowboys. They lead it 2-0. Later on top of the fifth, Moorhead, this is pitcher Rick Westra doubles to left center. Steve Raisler scores from second. It's 2-1 Breckenridge. In the top of the sixth, Moorhead, Steve Raisler again, one of those excuse-me swings. Grounded to the third, to throw is wide. Raisler slides under the tag. Scotty Olson is in from third. They are tied at 2. They go to extra innings. Top of the eighth, Moorhead, Bobby George, infield single. Second baseman overthrows to the fence. Scotty Olson gets the winning run. Moorhead wins 3-2. The Spuds go to 6-0 on the season. Westra, a two-hitter and 8 strikeouts. Westra raises his record to 3-0. Moorhead wins it in 8 innings. College baseball, Concordia 15-2 and 8-5.
And some scattered throughout the southeast, some of it heavy down here. That might be giving.
Today they made it 10 straight without a loss, knocking off Perham, that in a makeup game over at Matson Field. Perham actually led this one 1-0 in the 4th inning, but Kevin Cushman has some trouble with the sun here. He can't see it. Chipper Roy's fly ball drops, and Scotty Olson and Steve Raisler score. Spuds would never trail again after that. They would make it 3-1 in the 5th. This is Jim Tallickson on in relief. He uncorks the wild pitch. Jim Childs will score. And then the Spuds add another one when Bobby George delivers the infield single. Watch the bad hop. It will force a quick throw to first. Olson comes home one more time. When it was all over, Moorhead doubles up Perham. There's the final 4-2. They are 10-0. Well, the Calgary Flames
great win, beating Perham 4-2 this afternoon. The Spuds spotted the Yellow Jackets a run in the first inning. Perham first, Jim Tullickson singles to left field. Jeff Gatt comes around to score, and it was 1-0 Yellow Jackets. But then Moorhead would take over in the 4th inning. Chipper Oy at the plate hits a pop-up to right field, and Kevin Cushman loses it in the sun. Scott Olson and Steve Raisler score, and it was 2-1 Spuds. Then in the 5th inning, they got a couple of more unearned runs. After a wild pitch that made it 3-1, Bob George hits a bouncer to short. The throw to first goes wild, and Jim Childs comes around to score. That made it 4-1, and the Spuds went on to win it this afternoon. 4-2. They play Fergus Falls tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 at Matson Field. Well, it appears the Calgary
After at Matson Field, Perham managed only a couple of runs against that Spuds defense. In the first inning, the Yellow Jackets score. Jim Talkison right here singles to left. Jeff Guck scores to make it 1-0 Perham. Later on in the 4th, it was sunny out there and rough to catch fly balls. Chipper Oy pops it to right. They misplay it in right field. Scotty Olson and Steve Raisler in. It's 2-1 Spuds. Later in the 5th, it's 3-1 Moorhead, and Bobby George with a slow roller to short, a bad throw to the first sacker. Olson is in. It's 4-1 Moorhead. They go on to win with Mike Puppy as the winning pitcher by a score of 4-2. And I'll have more sports right.
Spuds won their 10th straight today. 3-1 over Fergus Falls, the final count. Bottom of the first, Jeff Kraft at the plate. He sends a blast way out over the left field fence. A 2-run homer. Jim Childs scored in front of him. Spuds led 2-0 at the time. Top of the 4th inning now. Fergus gets on the board. Mike Rass with a bloop single over third base in short left field. Kurt Nygaard scored on the play, and the lead was cut to 2-1 in favor of Moorhead. Bottom of the 6th, though, the Spuds would get some insurance. Steve Raisler doubles into right center. Bob George comes around to score, and the Spuds won it 3-1. In the Major League,
for the most part, as they continue to get the great pitching, and more importantly, they continue to win. Today it was a 3-1 triumph over Fergus Falls, and the Spuds actually got all the offense they would need in the first inning. And after Jim Childs draws the walk, Jeff Kraft gets the big blow. 2-run homer to left. You can make it 10 straight for Moorhead. As they go on to win it, they got one more run. The final was Moorhead 3.
Score of 6-3, and the Mets, of course, still hot. They have only lost 6 games and won 21 on the season. I say came in the 8th inning. Elsewhere, there you see the Giants winning 6-5. Maldonado's home run won it for him. Montreal over Cincinnati 4-2. Eric Schall gets the win tonight. Dane Orge hit a 3-run homer, helped the Padres 4-2 winners over Pittsburgh. In the 5th inning, St. Louis rain delayed with the Dodgers, but they lead now 2-0 in the 6th. And in the 11th inning, Philadelphia and Houston, they are all tied up at 2. In high school baseball today, Moorhead jumped to an early lead on Fergus Falls, and they held on to win their 10th straight game. Bottom of the 1st, this is Jeff Kraft. He connects for Moorhead. Home run to left field. Jimmy Childs was aboard. 2-0 Spuds. Later on in the 4th, Fergus Falls number 6, Dave Lilquist with a bloop single to left. Kurt Nygaard will score to make it 2-1 Moorhead. Boy, did the Spuds have the D today. Rick Westra on the mound, picks up his 5th win today. Watch him turn the double play. Westra to Olson, to Bjerke, double play, gets him out of a jam. Moorhead wins by a score of 3-1. Westra picks up his 5th win. Spuds go to 10-0, and I'll have more sports right after this.
Don't like losing baseball games, I guess. In fact, they've suffered just 1 defeat in 2 years, and that one came in last year's playoffs against Bemidji. Well, today the Spuds got a bit of revenge, beating the Lumberjacks 4-1 for their 11th straight win of this season. And again, they would score early and let the pitching do the rest. Today they strike here in the 3rd inning. This is Scott Bjerke singling to left field. It moves Brian Amundsen over to 3rd base. Then after Bjerke stole second, watch Jeff Kraft. He'll deliver the hit to score them both. They cross the plate. Moorhead goes on to win again. The final today was 4-1. They're 11-0. Turning to
In baseball this afternoon, the Lumberjacks came in with only 1 loss, but they just could not hold back the Spud attack. Bottom of the 3rd, Moorhead, Jeff Kraft singles to left. Brian Amundsen and Scott Bjerke are in. Spuds lead 2-0. That's really all they needed. Bottom of the 5th, Scotty Olson gives some insurance with a single up the gut, and Bjerke scores. Moorhead wins its 11th straight by a score of 4-1 over Bemidji.
We try to approach it just making them aware of no letdowns and what they have in store. They got their heart broken last year with the loss. The last game ends on the only loss of the year, so hopefully that made an impression on them and they realize just a little bit more of what they're playing for. It can happen real sudden here in another week, and that's what we're on guard for, and hopefully play our best ball, like you said, still to come.
In high school track, Dilworth
win 8-0 over Crookston, Frazee over Sabika and Toma, and GSM, they split a pair away.
And in high school baseball, the Moorhead Spuds have made it 12 in a row. They're now 12-0 on this young baseball season. They beat Crookston on the road today by a score of 8-0. One other baseball score, Frazee beats Sabika by a score of 5-1. One college baseball note.
David Bender.
In baseball tournament, today the Blues beat Dilworth 7-2 to take the District 9 Championship Series 2-0. First inning action, it was Dilworth breaking on top when Steve Lansom doubles inside the bag at 3rd. Tony Reno scores. It's 1-0 Dilworth. But in the Blues' 3rd, see ya. Scott Bjerke deep to right off Shane Turan. Mike Parks leaps in vain. It's a 3-run homer, and the Blues lead it 3-1. In the Blues' 4th, they would extend that lead when Chipper Oy singles into left center. Jim Childs comes around to score. 4-1 Moorhead, and they go on to win it 7-2.
When you're playing somebody in your backyard that you're a favorite to beat, I think you can panic right away, and our kids really played their cool, I think, and did a nice job. And both of our pitchers, I think we walked 3 guys in 2 games, and I think that was a real key, too.
How do you feel about making state tournament?
I'm relieved. For the first time now, we can play against somebody that maybe we're not expected to beat, you know, and it's hard for our kids, I think, and myself included, to play against teams that we're expected to beat all the time, and we're just going to go out and have some fun playing baseball from now on.
7-2 the final. The Blues win the series, and they'll move on and open state tournament play in Marshall, Minnesota on Friday. In North
Legion baseball tournament, they did it by stopping Dilworth this afternoon, 7-2 to sweep their best-of-3 District 9 playoff. We had hoped to have highlights of that one for you, but unfortunately we had some problems. My apologies on that one. There you see the final, though, 7-2. They will now play Friday in Marshall, Minnesota.
Westra and Chipper Oy 3-1 Blues. 4th inning in Dilworth. Kevin Toso, a 2-out single to right field. Shane Tehran will come around 3rd, hesitate a little, but gets in safe. 4-2 Blues. 6th inning, Moorhead's Chipper Oy singles to left field, driving in Rick Westra from 3rd. Oy's 2nd RBI as the Blues scored 3 runs in the inning. Blues pitcher Steve Raisler went the distance, struck out 13 Dilworth batters for the win. Moorhead wins it 7-2. The Blues will play in the Minnesota State Legion tournament at Marshall on Friday. Back across the inning,
Bjerke again singles to right. Jimmy Childs scores to give the Blues a 4-0 lead. They weren't done there. The very next batter, Chipper Oy, executes the suicide squeeze. Rick Westra scores to give the Blues a 5-0 lead. Moorhead beat Fargo 6-4. Moorhead finishes the tournament with a 5-0 record. Fargo
with a perfect 5-0 record. Fargo ends up 2-3. Argentina is the 19th on July 24th. Mark that on your calendars. San Fran beat Pittsburgh 11-4. Philadelphia, Mike Schmidt, 2 homers in that one. They beat Houston 5-4. San Diego clobbers St. Louis 13-6, and the Dodgers take one from the Cubbies 4-3. It's been a tough weekend for the Moorhead Blues baseball team as they came up empty in their post-21 invitational, dropping today's finale 8-4 at the hands of Burnsville. Burnsville jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the second. Scott Olson will have trouble with this grounder. The ball will squirm into left field, allowing Rich Ingersoll to score one of the 3 in that inning. They added 2 more in the third to make it 5-0. Watch them execute the double steal right here to perfection. Plenty of time to score on that play. But the Blues didn't give up. In fact, they cut the margin to a single run in the fourth, scoring 4 times an inning on this RBI bat hop single by Mike Puppy for one of them. But Burnsville added 3 insurance. They beat them 8-4. The Blues finished 0-3 in that tournament. Burnsville was 2-1. Princeton, they beat Blaine 6-4. They stay perfect to win the championship of that tournament today at Matson Field. The Blues then wrapped up their busy weekend by taking on Fargo at Jack Williams in a makeup contest. And that game turned out to be a seesaw affair. We have some highlights of that one. Fargo had to keep battling back in this one. Tony Satter will tie it at 1 with this long sac fly to right in the bottom of the first inning. And it was a brand new game as they headed to the second. Then trailing 3-1, Satter would bring Fargo to within 1 run with an RBI single through the hole to left. And it was a 3-2 contest. They eventually tied it at 3 when Randy McCloskey got the old Texas Leaguer to drop in. And once again, it was all knotted up. But in the end, the Blues win it, salvage a weekend win here with a 5-4 victory over Fargo. Babe Ruth, state champion.